What's going on, everybody? Goes 4H Delta X-Ray Studios here. Today we're going to show you how to put sun shafts in your game. We're also going to show you how to rotate sun shafts with your sun, and we're also going to show you we're going to put a moon and a sun in the game scene, and we're going to have the moon put off its own sun shafts, and we're going to have the sun put off its own sun shafts. So we're going to get started here. First thing to do, when if you're brand new to Unity and you have not started a scene yet, you just opened up a new game, go into Assets, go to Import Package, and get all your packages here. Go ahead and get them all imported into your scene. So once you do that, basically what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new folder, and I'm going to name it Skybox. We're going to go into the Skybox here. We're going to create a new material. Just right click, go to Create, and click on Material. We're going to name this Skybox. Alright, so in the inspector panel, you got the shader. Drop the shader down. You see Skybox. Of course, you got several things you can pick from: 6-sided cube map, procedural. We're going to go with procedural here. What we're going to do is we're going to grab this material. We're going to drag it into the scene, point it upwards. Where's our sun? There's our sun. By having procedural Skybox, you're going to be able to adjust your sun size and everything. You'll also be able to do your sun size convergence. Atmosphere thickness you can do. And then, of course, you got exposure. All right, so anyway, we're going to go ahead. We're going to create a directional light now. We're going to name this directional light. We're going to name it Sun. Okay. So in the transform here, come over to the little gear of the transformer. We're going to hit reset. And basically, we're going to reset its positioning, resetting everything. All right, let's go ahead and drag it over. I'm going to kind of line it up with these mountains, because that's kind of where I want my sun shafts kind of be beaming through at the moment. So we're going to drag it over. Let's go ahead and rotate it around. You know what, let me just go ahead and type in -180. So that way it's all set up. So now if we go into game view here, you can see right here we actually have the sun beaming over here. There's one thing I want to remove. I'm going to remove real quick. I actually already have some sun shafts in here, but I want to remove that so I can show you guys how to put that sun shaft in. So anyway, with this directional light here, I would go ahead and adjust the color. Kind of adjust the color to how you want it. I want to kind of leave it more kind of orangish, I guess. There we go. All right. So basically, what we want to do now, since we have that. Okay, I don't have any flares actually imported at the moment. We'll draw a halo though. Let's go ahead and put the shadows. Let's put the soft shadows. Kind of make it, give it that GI, that global illumination. Whenever we make this rotate, we'll see the shadows and everything moving. Okay, so anyway, in the first person thing, go to Add Component and just type in sun shafts and add the sun shafts. In the inspector, make sure you're adding the sun shafts not to the FPS controller, but hit the arrow to drop down the menu and add the sun shaft. Add all your camera effects to the first person character is what you want to do. So now that we've added, I've got vignetic and chromatic aberration, screen space, ambient occlusion, color correction, curves, bloom, anti-aliasing, and then we have sun shafts. I'm going to put mine on high. You can put yours low, medium, high, whatever you're wanting to put it at. We're going to drag the sun and the hierarchy. We're going to drag it over to the caster, and we're going to center on the first person. It's going to ask you the sun shaft caster named Sun will be centered along first person character. Are you sure? Yes, please do. Now if we go back into our scene view, basically it's just making sure that this sun is centered on our first person character at this moment. So we'll go back into the game view. One thing we want to do, let's go ahead and adjust our sun shaft colors. You can do that by adjusting sun shaft colors or shaft colors. And I'm going to make mine kind of more make mine more of a kind of an orange. Now, right now you can barely see the sun shaft, so before upping the intensity, go to the threshold color and left click that and adjust it. And you can see right there how our stuff really kind of comes out. Really kind of made our sun shafts come out pretty good right there. Anyway, you got distance fall off. Basically, the higher the number the distance fall off is, the more it's going to pull it back into the directional light. The lower that number is, the more it's going to basically pull it out towards the camera. You got blur size. It looks like the higher up that number is, the more the blur size comes up. But I don't want it going too much, so I would think about, it looks like 2 right there. Look pretty good. I'm going to go ahead and drag this up. 2.02 is what I have. And then you got blur iterations, my bad. And you can see it basically just pulls the sun shaft in or out, however you want it. I mean, that looks pretty good. I don't know. I can't decide if I like 1 or 2 better. Like, I like both of them. I mean, I like being able to actually see it, but I also like it really close. Normally what we do is we actually do keep it on 2. But I don't know. I really like 1 and 2. So I mean, either one I think looks pretty cool. So anyway, we got that. One thing I want to show you, it's basically going to be a day-night cycle. I forgot to mention that I was going to show you how to do that in this. There are people who have scripts for this for free, and then there's people who are wanting money for the script. Basically, we're going to make this day-night cycle without us doing any coding. It's a standard asset through Unity. Basically, we're going to look for auto move and rotate is what we're looking for. Right here, it says auto move and rotate. We're going to drag and drop that onto our sun here. We're going to left click on the sun in the hierarchy, and the inspector here, you can see at the bottom. Oh, excuse me. You can see at the bottom we have auto move and rotate script. You have a move units per second, rotate degrees per second, and ignore time scale. Basically, we're gonna drop down the rotate degrees per second, and on the x-axis I'm gonna put it at 10. I've done this a couple times already, and the x-axis I'm pretty sure is where we want it at. So if we hit play right here, and you can see we have the sun shafts are in the game, and we also have our directional light, which would actually, our directional light is moving, which is causing the procedural skybox, the sun in it, to move also. So that's basically our day-night cycle we have. If you look over here, as it gets nighttime, our sun shafts go away. Basically, right now, it's not super dark in the game just yet. I mean, there it goes. It's going. Basically, your desktop or laptop, whatever you're using, has to calculate the lighting on that and stuff. So now you can see it's coming back up, and so that's how you get sun shafts in, and that's also how you get like a day-night cycle, and it's also how you get your by putting in the procedural skybox is also how you get your sun to move for your day-night cycle. So here's the other thing I want to show you guys. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to go into game object. We're going to create an empty game object, and this is going to be, we're going to call this sun and moon. Yeah, we'll go ahead. I was going to name it sun and moon rotate, but you know, it's whatever. I don't really need it at this moment. Let me go ahead and see where that's at. Okay, so if we take our sun here, oops, sorry guys, I don't know if you guys heard that or not. Take our sun, we're going to drop it down into the moon right there. Now, here's the thing. By us dropping the sun, our sun here, into the sun and moon game object, we're going to remove this auto move and rotate, and we're going to go to sun and moon, and we're going to put that script on the sun and moon, and we'll rotate that at 10. So now if we go into game view, what we should see here is we should see the sun move, and the sun shafts should move with the sun. So if we hit play here, well, it looks like it went the other way, but we still got our day-night cycle here. Let me go ahead and get my character to run up here real quick. Get up on top of this hill real quick before that sun comes up. Should be coming up here pretty soon. There it is. And see, and there's our sun shafts also rotating with our directional. It looks like we will have to kind of adjust. You'll have to adjust the directional light a little bit to line up with that sun. But you can see as it's coming down to the other side, the sun shafts are over there again, and you can see when the sun set, it had directional light. It had the sun shaft, and then when the sun rose, it also had a sun shaft where the sun was rising at. So right there we just covered, basically your day-night cycle, sun shafts, procedural skybox to get your sun to move. So you're pretty much just by doing this little bit, you're pretty much set to do a day-night cycle and have your sun shafts rotate in the game. And you can see, like, even as we're kind of looking down a little bit, we still have the sun shaft kind of beaming through. One thing I want to kind of look at here, I want to kind of get in these trees a little bit here. I just want to see if this sun shaft will beam down through these trees. It may or may not. Depends on what the intensity you have it set at. So, we got it there. So if I was just sitting here looking around in the game view here. Okay, so it looks like you really wouldn't have a sun shaft, whenever when it's noon, but as it comes down, you start getting your sun shaft again. So we're getting a sun shaft during the morning hours, and we're getting a sun shaft during the night hours. Or not night hours. Sun shaft when the sun rises, and when it sets, we have our sun shaft. Sorry guys, I don't really record videos too much and share this kind of stuff, so you have to bear with me. I'm used to just somebody just being like, hey, I need this, and I just make it. Basically, in the hierarchy, select your sun, Control D, duplicate that. And what we want to do is we actually want to grab this. We're going to go ahead and grab Sun 1, move it over. We're going to rename it Moon. And then we're going to rotate this. Actually, should be able to rotate it in the y-axis back to 0. And we'll drag it back. Now for the moon here, we're actually just going to go ahead and we're going to adjust the color. We're going to put it more kind of bluish. For shadows, you have soft shadows, okay. So in game mode here, and you can see like we have this bluish tint here, but at the same time we have that bluish tint because the sun is also setting at this time. Okay, so I mean, there's a lot of, you got to really play with this a little bit just to get it just right. And I'm just showing you guys how to get it into your scene. You just have to do a little bit of tweaking just to get it to look right. I would do it and show you guys how to do it, but I really, I don't want you guys to be sitting here watching a 40-minute video. I'm just trying to get straight to the point on how to do this. In the first person character again, go ahead and go to add component, and we'll add another sun shaft once again. And in the second sun shaft here, we're going to drag and drop moon into our suncaster. We're going to center on first person, yes. Okay, if we go back into our scene here, I want to see where our moon's at. Okay, so our moon is, of course, back over there. I guess I could have did that first. Let's go ahead and rotate this back to 0. Okay, we'll go back in the game here. We're going to actually select the FPS controller on the y-axis. We're going to go ahead and rotate him around. Okay, so for this right here, oh, I dropped down the wrong one here, my bad. This one right here, this sun shaft for the moon is actually going to be, more of a blue. Kind of get more of a blue look. Let's go ahead and adjust these a little bit. And I don't know if you guys can see this just yet, but I can already see some. I can already see some of it. We got some of them shafts coming through still already. All right, let's go back in here again. I think it's this bottom one here. Of course, we got distance fall off and stuff like that. bring it up. We'll leave it at 2 once again. I'm going to put mine on high. Like I said, you can, for resolution, you can put low, normal, or high. It's however you want to do it. So now if we go into play mode here, the sun should be setting. The sun is now set, and now our moon is up. And I think when it gets over to this side here, we should see them shafts start kind of coming through a little bit. There we go. Okay, but the sun shafts kind of came through at the last second. So like I said, it will require some tweaking. You will have to tweak it a little bit to get it to work just right. Okay, here we go. Now it's setting a little bit. Anyway, whenever it gets to this other side here, it should kind of have that little sun shaft. Like I said, you guys have to play with it, just kind of play with it a little bit. You guys just have to play with it, but that's how to get your get your day-night cycle and your sun shafts and everything. And so there's kind of a quick recap before I end this video. For the day-night cycle, auto move and rotate is the script you'll want. For the just if you want like the sun and the moon, auto move and rotate. Put your directional light in, name it sun. Basically, go into your first person character, get your sun shafts, drop the sun into the shaft caster, center on first person. If you want a moon, you will have to repeat the same thing. Adjust, like I said, adjust your shaft colors to the color you want. Threshold color will make your it will actually make your sun shafts brighter or darker or less vivid, I guess you could say. But I mean that's pretty much it. Adding a procedural skybox in for your sun to move, then basically make a empty game object. Put your auto move and rotate on the empty game object. Name it whatever you want. Put your sun and your moon, or just your sun, however you're wanting it. Attach that to your sun and moon empty game object, and then put the auto move and rotate on the sun and moon, and you'll get your day-night cycle, and your sun will move, and your sun shafts will also move with your directional light. And like I said, that is something in YouTube I've been looking everywhere to see if anybody's said anything or posted a video of it. I haven't seen anything, so I thought I would post one and help you guys out. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and please drop a like, because if you guys hit that like button. It's not really so much for me. It's more or less just, I think the more likes I get on this video, the more it gets out to more people, and it just helps the game development community more, just knowing little tips and tricks. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'll have a video for you coming pretty soon.